Good morning, boys and girls. This is Principal Ingram, and I'm here for a very special edition of Story Time. Today's story is from our very Dunbar Christmas gift pack that you received on Friday. If your parents did not get a chance to come and get it, remember our school is open today from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for you to pick those items up. Just give us a call at 416-5000. But for those of you who have it and for those of you who don't, we're gonna hop right into the book. So boys and girls, you should have a gift pack that looks something like this. We made you a couple of little treats in there and a couple of different little items and books for you all to share. I do wanna tell you though, there are some special things in there. Of course, I wrote you a little letter and it's in your book, in your bag. But each of you all received a book, an extra book, and I wanna tell you the story behind it. That is from a retired educator whose last wish was that all of her books be dispersed into a new home. She loved reading, she loved teaching reading, and she wanted to make sure that her books, once she passed, found a new home. And so we thought, what better way than not just one new home, but for all 240 of our students to have one of those books. So courtesy of the family of Dr. Maxine Kirby, you have an extra book in your package. We also want to thank Greater Memphis Media for providing books for our kindergartners. All of you all have a very special book in a packet that was created by your teachers as well. And certainly last but not least, in each one of our gift boxes that Ms. Katina Rankin from Channel 24 gave us, she also put books in there. So we just want to add to your library. But if you have your book, I want you to pick it up. It's the Berenstain Bears, The Joy of Giving. This is the book that Mr. Ingram wanted you to have because in this season, we know that there are some tough times going on in 2020. However, we are certainly stronger working together, and it's always important to remember to give back to others. And so on Friday, that was our goal. We just wanted to put a smile on your face, and we hope that you and your families have a wonderful and safe holiday season. So let's jump into our book for this morning. It is the Berenstain Bears, The Joy of Giving. It was the week before Christmas, and all over Bear Country, everyone was busy getting ready for the big day. They were Christmas shopping and Christmas decorating and Christmas everything. Down at the chapel in the woods, the cubs of Bear Country were busy getting ready for the Christmas Eve play. Now that's something we couldn't do this year, but next year we're gonna make that happen. It was the story of the first Christmas, and brother and sister had an important role. They were to be the camel of the three wise bears. Sister was the front end of the camel, and brother brought up the rear. They thought it was the best costume ever. Mrs. Ursula, their Sunday school teacher, was directing. All right, wise bears, she called. Enter stage right. The three wise bears came on stage. They carried gifts and wore long robes, crowns, and fake beards. They followed the Christmas star made of foil, covered cardboard that hung above the stage. The first wise bear was played by Sammy Bruno, who had a loose front tooth that made him a little hard to understand. A Thar, he cried. I see a Thar. Mrs. Ursula sighed. Okay, Camel, she called. You're on. Sister and brother followed the three wise bears, but it was hard to see out of the costume, and sister accidentally knocked over a palm tree. The three wise bears tripped, going down in a tangle. Oh dear, said Mrs. Ursula. Will we ever be ready? Sorry, Miss Ursula, said sister, poking her head out. It's hard to see in there. I need to make your peepholes bigger, said Miss Ursula. That's enough for today, cubs. It's time to go home. The cubs took off their costumes and went into the chilly evening air. Brrr, shivered sister. It's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas. Yeah, agreed brother, and looking that way too. The whole neighborhood was decorated for Christmas. Sister and brother walked home in the soft glow of many colored lights. The next day, the Bear family went shopping. It was time for brother and sister to pick out a few special gifts. This year, they had 2 crisp $10 bills from Grizzly Gramps and Grand to spend on others. Of course, brother and sister hoped they would have some money left for themselves. Sister was saving for a brand new Barbie doll, and brother wanted a special rubber band powered model airplane. Papa and Honey helped brother do his shopping while Mama went with sister. Brother picked out a Barbie doll outfit that he had found on sale for sister, and sister bought a small airplane model for brother. Each cost just a few dollars. Mama and Papa thought that maybe each cub should have spent more money on one another. What about the joy of giving? Whispered Mama to Papa. It seems brother and sister only care about the joy of getting. True, agreed Papa, but let's not interfere. They'll learn about the joy of giving for themselves. Over the next few days, Christmas excitement in Bear Country grew and grew. Brother and sister could hardly wait. They were going to be a camel and get lots of presents too. Play rehearsals went well. Sister could see better out of the presents. Whoops. Gotta be a good reader. I'm gonna back it up. Sister could see better out of the bigger peepholes, and everyone knew their lines. But it was still a little hard to understand Sammy Bruno. Now, boys and girls, what Mr. Ingram just did was notice that he misread. And so as you're reading, it's always a good thing to go back and reread to make sure you get good understanding of what you're reading. Let's jump back into the story. When Christmas Eve finally arrived, practically everyone in Bear Country jammed the chapel in the woods to see the Cubs perform. A hush fell as the curtain opened and the play began. First, Angel Gabriel came to Mary telling her that she would give birth to Jesus. Then Joseph and Mary journeyed to Bethlehem, where the innkeeper gave them shelter in a stable. There, Mary gave birth to a tiny baby who was laid in a manger. An angel of the Lord appeared to the shepherds, sharing the good news of Jesus' birth, so they could go and worship the newborn king. Finally, the 3 wise bears and their faithful camel trooped on stage. The foil-covered Christmas star hung high above the stable, sparkling in the spotlight. A star! A star! I see a star! Sammy said clearly. His loose tooth had come out backstage. The 3 wise bears kneeled before Mary, Joseph, and Jesus. The shepherds and the angel joined them. Everyone bowed low before the tender baby. The 3 wise bears opened their treasures and gave Jesus their precious gifts. The audience grew very still. Someone in the back began to softly sing, "Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright." And the rest of the audience joined in near the end. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Peeking out of the camel costume, tears came to sister and brother's eyes. It seemed they had never understood the joy of giving until that moment. All the gifts of all the Christmases, all of the years, went back to those first gifts given to the tiny baby long ago. The Christmas Eve play was over and the audience cheered. Everyone felt the true spirit of Christmas had been with them that night. On Christmas morning, brother and sister led the family downstairs bright and early. But instead of heading to their own piles of presents, they went to their gifts for each other. "Merry Christmas," they said, holding out their presents. "From one end of the camel to the other," said brother. "Thanks," laughed sister. "You're a first-rate backup." Brother and sister were delighted with their gifts and gave each other big bear hugs. Honey opened her presents, and brother and sister joined in. In the back of their minds, though, they were still thinking about the money they had left over from their shopping trip. Later that morning, the family went to the chapel in the woods for the Christmas Day service. A light snow covered the ground, and all of Bear Country glistened in the sun. On the way, sister and brother noticed a group of bears playing Christmas carols. They were collecting money for the needy in a big black pot. Brother and sister looked at each other, dug into their pockets, and dropped all of their money into the pot. Mama and Papa smiled with pride. You know what the good book says, Mama told them. It is more blessed to give than to receive. We know, said brother. We received an awful lot, so it's time we gave some of it back. Look, said sister, feeling in her pocket, I still have a quarter. Honey reached for it and sister put it in her hand. Then little Honey, holding onto Papa, toddled over to the big black pot and dropped the quarter in. The bears playing music paused. Merry Christmas, they all said. Merry Christmas, answered the bear family. Boys and girls, we hope that all of you know the true feeling of giving. It's such joy. And it brought Mr. Ingram and our entire Dunbar staff so much joy to celebrate a very Dunbar Christmas with you. We hope that you remain safe with your families and remember to mask up. See you again virtually on January the 4th. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.